And we're back with another video. Welcome back, guys. We are reacting to a video called The Dangers Gen X Faced in the US. Not no Gen Z bullshit. Not no...
Ain't no millennials.
No identify...
Not even our age category.
Not even no identify as a cat today. More real shit. Alright? Let's do it.
But I identify as a cat.
Don't listen to Fat. She's trolling y'all.
If you grew up as Generation X, then it's probably a miracle you even survived. At least that's what the modern world tells us. Many of the things that were normal back then are now taboo. In this video, we will have a look back and wonder how Gen X kids even survived. Television wasn't everything, but it was still pretty important. If you were a kid in the 70s, then you probably did not even have cable. Most people relied on a television antenna, which was usually rabbit ears and tinfoil. However, there were some households that used an antenna that was mounted on top of the roof. Every so often, this antenna would need to be adjusted thanks to some wind or weather. This became a family affair. Dad, of course, was in charge of the picture, so he was right in front of the television.
I like how you called it the picture. That's an old saying. And when television was black and white, no colour, no 999 channels.
Black and white, bad audio.
Breaking signal, choppy.
Trying to move the antenna around.
Hoping that it will reconnect.
Yeah.
One of the kids would be up on top of the roof and ready to receive instructions from the relay of the rest of the family spread out from Dad.
Yeah, like that.
No one ever thought anything about kids being on the roof and then falling off. Most kids got up there anyways just to get a better view of the neighborhood or the stars. Many newer roofs are much more steep, and that might be considered child abuse to send your kid up there. I guess it's a good thing that people don't have to deal with antennas on the roof. Summers as a kid were always fun, and why wouldn't it be? You were out of school, and that meant you could spend more time with your friends. But with all that running around outside, you were bound to get thirsty. There's nothing quicker and more refreshing than a sip from the garden hose.
True.
Of course, you had to let it run a while before it got cool enough to drink, but it certainly had a distinctive taste. When is the last time that you've seen a kid do this?
Nowadays, they don't even let you drink straight out the water fountain from the gym. You got to bloody put your bottle there and then do it because of hygiene. Mate.
I remember when the pipes would burst in summer, especially. The kids would get their bikes, they'll ride underneath it, get away. Everyone would bring out the water guns.
Back when fun used to actually exist,
Yeah.
water gun fights were. And
water balloon fights, they were
sick.
good as well.
Nostalgia 101.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be unhealthy, yet here we are. But occasionally, I still take a sip from the garden hose.
Memory lane.
The garden hose was also connected to a couple other activities that parents today may consider them to be too dangerous. The first one was the slip and slide.
Oh, yeah.
The older editions of the slip and slide were a little bit more dangerous, and some kids broke bones or chipped teeth on these, but just about everyone slid off the end or over the side and got a grass or rock burn. Believe it or not, they still sell these, but they are a little bit safer. This next item, however, I'm not so sure about. As kids, we all enjoyed playing in the water sprinkler, but some of these sprinklers could be pretty rough. This one in particular was really dangerous. It had a solid steel base that could certainly hurt if you stubbed a toe on it or fell on it, but that wasn't the dangerous part. When the water ran through the sprinkler, it would move the metal fan blade at the top. At that point, it was like a little saw blade that was spinning fast on top, and it could cut through little water-soaked toes and feet.
I can see why that one was changed.
Yeah.
Because that could, if you got a young kid walking by that and they get caught on
pet?
that. Yeah, or if you got a 3-year-old or 4-year-old, yeah, it's getting hurt.
Kids were fast learners, though. If they got cut once, they would be sure to clear it the next time. Kids in our day used to be outside a lot, and we loved it. That worked out great because most of our parents really didn't want us inside the house anyways. As a result, kids spent a lot of time out in the sun. And sunblock? We had no idea what that was. Are you talking about a hat or a shade tree? At most, we may have depended on SPF 4, and that's only if we were super cautious.
As soon as like computer games got involved and PlayStation came out and all these things, that's when kids started not going out like they used to. I remember being on my BMX. We used to just always be out then. As soon as like it got to them gaming days, you just indoors, even in the summer. That's what changed it.
I mean, I guess in a way, there's a pro and con to both. If you're a gamer kid, you're safe at home.
Yeah.
You're away from the dangers of the outside, but then it's like you're not getting the rays from the sun. You're not getting the vitamin D.
Life experience.
You're not socializing with others.
You're just in your bedroom, locked up, your mum telling you you're wasting too much electricity and the bills going
but at
up.
least mum's happy that her child's safe at home.
I guess, yeah.
Playing games.
Unless she wants you out. My mum used to want me out. She'd be like, get out of the house.
Mama would want us at home.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah.
Everyone was exposed to the sun, and many of us would compare sunburns at the end of the day. When our skin started peeling, we would see who could peel off the biggest flake. Oh look, that one looks like Texas. It also wasn't uncommon to see teen girls and young women laying out and trying to get that golden beach tan. Quite often, they would speed up this process by using either coconut oil or tanning oil. Today, most kids get lathered up with anything from 30 SPF to 100 SPF.
Yeah.
Parents in those days certainly didn't have to watch us like the parents do today. They not only trusted us, but they also trusted our friends and the rest of the community. Parents realized that we needed to do things on our own, and that was how we were going to learn. However, if they were watching and we happened to get hurt, there was no doubt that they were going to be laughing as long as it wasn't life-threatening.
Nowadays, a tiny little cut, the parents are making sure they get to the bottom of it. They're chasing the person, calling the police if they need to. Back then, the parents were like, oh, you'll be fine. Put a plaster on it.
Taking them to A&E, hospital.
A&E, crying about it. Mate, this is why it's harder to build men these days. Rather than people that identify as hats and cats.
Bikes were everything to a Gen X kid, and they provided us a freedom that we couldn't get from anything else. We could go on adventures that were hours away from home, and for the most part, our parents had no idea where we were at. We also used our bikes to jump some pretty shady ramps.
Yeah.
We could do a lot with some plywood and bricks, and it was hours of entertainment. As we look back on our childhoods and compare it to modern kids, it's hard to believe that we did all those bike adventures with no helmet or knee pads. This picture pretty well sums up the generation.
It's so true. No, helmet wasn't a thing back then. And you always have someone on the bike, and then did you used to have those things that you could saddle people so someone can go on the back of your bike?
BMX.
Yeah, like them kind of bikes. You have these little things, they stick out and people could step on them and their hands on your shoulders and you're riding.
Yeah.
And you like take your friend about.
Yeah.
So we used to do like shit on ramps with my friend on the back of the bike like that. Like, it used to be mad.
I never had a BMX, but I used to have a mountain bike.
Yeah, there you go.
So I used to have someone sitting on the seat,
right,
and I would ride.
Standing.
But not sitting on the seat.
Yeah, standing. Yeah, that's how you do it, the mountain bikes.
Yeah.
Good memories, man.
This kid is jumping his bike off of a super tall ramp. Notice that he has no helmet, knee pads, or elbow pads.
And
Just
flip-flops.
pure fun
He's wearing
adventure.
sliders.
If this Evel Knievel lands short, then the kid on the end is in trouble.
Yeah.
Occasionally that did happen. As you look at the kids on the side, you can tell that they are worried about this because they've seen it happen themselves. But the best part about this photo is there's a dad sitting on the front steps and he's smoking a cigarette while he's waiting to see who gets hurt first.
Is that, come on, son?
For him, this is as good as any gong show on television.
That's true.
Back in those days, cigarette smoke was everywhere, and you couldn't avoid secondhand smoke if you wanted to. In fact, most of us had at least one parent that smoked. Parents would send their kids into convenience stores to purchase cigarettes while they waited out in the car. Usually the clerk would just look out and get a nod from the parent, which would signal that it was okay to buy the cigarettes. If the parents were not around, then the kid probably needed a note from the parents saying that it was okay to buy the cigarettes. These notes were never all that official, and it might be written on a notepad, scratch of paper, or the back of a receipt.
Nowadays, ID, please. No ID, no cigarettes. I was talking to my colleague the other day about this, funny enough, something similar, and we were saying, like, how mad it was to think that, like, at some point, however many years ago it was, you used to be able to smoke in the planes, you used to be able to smoke in restaurants, all the pubs. Now it's like you have to go outside and smoke. You can't smoke in buildings.
To be honest, I don't like smelling other
Me
people's
as well,
cigarette,
but I'm just saying it's just crazy how different things are now to how they were
Yeah.
like 20, 30 years ago.
I think because many, many years ago, they were very lenient.
Yeah.
But there are people around that do have, health concerns. So imagine smoking near someone that's asthmatic.
Yeah. And I think as science got deeper and things got better, people, like the doctors started to realize this shit, and like they started to do a bit more control over these things.
Dear clerk, please sell Rhett a carton of cigarettes. Thanks, Mom.
Lol.
Can you believe that actually worked? There's no chance that kids could ever do that today.
No way.
Car safety was something else that most people didn't take too seriously. In the US, it became mandatory that every car manufactured after 1968 had to have seatbelts installed in them. But wearing them was more of a recommendation rather than a requirement until the mid-1980s. Until then, we stood up on the front seat so that we could see up over the dash, and our dad's arm was our seatbelt and the airbag.
True.
Another thing that we
Imagine
would
that.
do is lay up on the back dash and pick our noses as we looked at the cop car behind us. We thought it was super fun when Dad had to slam on the brakes and we came flying out of that back window and slammed into the back of the front seat.
The amount of injuries that must have happened from that, I'm telling you.
Dangerous.
Yeah, but that's how it was. Back then it was just, whatever. Oh, they knocked their head, they'll be fine. Parents was just so chilled back then compared to now. Now everything's like overkill.
Back then, we had to learn how to take a fall, and the crazy thing about it is we couldn't wait to get back up there and try it again.
Yeah.
Pickup trucks were not as common as what you see today, and people that had boats would haul them with regular cars, even Cadillacs. And when Dad needed lumber, it was going on the roof of the car so that it could come home. He would tie it down a little, but it was still our job to help hold the lumber down as it was stacked on the roof. So there we were, standing up on the seat, halfway out the window, clinging to the lumber on top, while Dad had his hand on our waistband to keep us from falling out. Somehow his other hand was busy holding down the lumber on his side, which is pretty incredible to think about. At the same time, he was also steering the car, shifting gears, and smoking a cigarette. It's no wonder that we thought he could do anything.
Dad was Superman back then, because the shit they used to do is not like today, boy.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, the OGs.
Yeah.
Remember some of the other activities we did? We all had toys that are considered dangerous now, but back then it was completely normal. Lawn darts was one of those toys. That weighted sharp point could penetrate anything if you didn't get the heck out of the way. Clackers, click-clacks, or knockers had the possibility of shattering and sending shards of plastic flying through the air like shrapnel.
These, I never used to have these, but I know someone that did. And I always wondered what it is. It's like a toy thing. You like clunk them together. You could play with them. But yeah, they, like you said, they could shatter. The person I knew that had them just used to like play with it like that. I don't know. Maybe there's another way of doing it, but they could shatter, yeah. It's quite bad.
Yet somehow, some of these clackers survived. In fact, here is my pair from the 70s. Back then, we learned how to entertain ourselves with the simplest of things. Do you remember making long chains from soda and beer can pull tabs?
Yep.
I remember
According to what they say today, we could have been badly cut at any moment, yet most of us had minor cuts, if any. But one dangerous activity that we all did was kite fighting. Remember this one?
I don't see kites no more.
Why was it dangerous?
Maybe, I think to do with the strings. But I don't see kite flying no more. Like, back in the day, it was really popular.
It's because everyone's busy playing games at home.
Yeah, but this was fun, man. Like, I would go back to doing this on the beach or something. That'd be sick.
I think people are finding consoles more fun than kites.
You would fasten razor blades to the side of your kite and then swoop it down so that you could cut the string of your friend's kite. If you were successful, then that kite would keep flying forever. But if your kite took a nosedive to the ground, then you better be quick and get out of the way of those razor blades. BB guns were another item that was quite
BB
common.
guns.
Kids could go all over town with one on the front of their handlebars, and the BB wars would certainly get intense. Back then, we definitely did not have safety at the top of our list when those broke out.
They bloody hurt as well, BB guns. Like, they literally will bruise you dirty.
I never owned a BB gun, did you?
I had a BB gun, but I didn't have it for long.
Yeah.
But then we got into air rifles. Air rifles are fucking peak. They're like the step up from BB guns.
So what was the pellets like?
Well, air rifles,
Yeah.
metal. They're basically like close. They're not like gun bullets, but they're the closest thing to an
That
actual
must have
gun.
hurt.
They're the closest thing to an actual gun that's not an actual gun. Like, you could really hurt someone with that shit.
Gosh.
Firecrackers were certainly a lot more accessible than they are today.
Yep.
It seemed like you could pop them off in every city and it was perfectly legal. Did you ever set off some fireworks and then place them into your Tonka truck and roll it into the driveway where some neighborhood girls were playing jacks so that you could get their attention?
The neighborhood girls.
Well, I guess that was just me then. Speaking of jacks, they were definitely something painful to step on if you were barefoot. Any parent today that complains about a Lego being stepped on has probably never really stepped on a jacks. These things would completely hide in the shag carpet, and they were like little soldiers that were waiting to ambush you.
You know what else I miss?
Little mimes.
Yeah, basically landmines.
Yeah.
What else I miss? Yo-yos.
Yeah,
are
I
sick.
remember yo-yos.
Yeah, I don't know if it was
They were cool.
Gen X times, but I don't know, it came after, or it might have been in Gen X as well, but yo-yos were sick and do all the yo-yo tricks with the string, like you're just doing the hand gestures.
I think it was probably after.
I think it's shortly after Gen X. They just
Yeah.
probably missed that. I don't think yo-yos were there.
No, I think it is part of Gen X actually.
It might be.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, guys.
With all that time that you spent on the bicycle, then I'm sure that you probably came in contact with at least one of these.
Yeah, 100%.
One slip
What
of
is
the
that?
foot and this pedal
Oh, on
could
the
travel
bike.
up your leg like a vegetable peeler.
Oh,
Kids today know nothing about that level of pain.
100% they don't.
Here is something else that could be really painful. These chairs were really comfortable to lay in, but when you got up, you had lines going all across your skin. But that wasn't the worst part. They were not the easiest to adjust. You had to bend them all the way in so that you could adjust them further out. One wrong move and the hinges of these torture devices could snap down on you
Torture
like a bear
devices.
trap and take off a chunk of skin. Are these chairs even sold today?
Nah, they're gone.
Despite all the dangers that were lurking all around us, it really was a special time to grow up in. People were friendly and neighbors were someone that you could count on. Some of the dangers that we see today are completely different than what we faced. Do you have any special memories that you would like to share? Let us.
Yo-yos. Do you remember Bop-Its? Where you got that thing.
You pull it and
pull,
you
twist.
squeeze. I never played that.
My sister had one.
There's
They
a lot
were-
of games I didn't
My
play.
sister had one, and for an actual toy,
I
that
played
was sick.
Ludo.
Ludo's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There was card games we used to play. We've done so much.
Hungry Hippo.
Bouncy balls.
Bouncy ball.
Like, you just throw it and it's mad bouncy.
I think so.
Yeah. Hungry
What about the
Hippo.
alien?
I was going to come to that.
The alien and the egg.
And there was a rumour, if you guys know
If you
about
put it in the fridge, it
has a baby.
in
Was that true?
Mine never had a baby.
I think that's bullshit. I think that was a rumour.
Of course it wouldn't.
But it was pretty cool. But yeah, let us know, guys, about your memories. Obviously, in the UK, it was a bit different to the US, but a lot of this stuff was in the UK as well. So us growing up,
I think it'll be
relatable.
quite similar, no?
It should be quite similar because
Yeah.
it's not like there was crazy technology difference. I think everyone had similar stuff. But yeah, let us know, guys, on your fond memories. Keep recommending the videos below in the comment section. You guys recommended this video, really enjoyed it. So we're looking forward to the next one. Peace out.
Bye.